special presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.
You're tuned in right now, so maybe you figured out what most boxing fans already know. Thunder is sure to strike in Atlantic City tonight. Arturo "Thunder" Gatti, widely regarded as the most exciting fighter in the world today, steps into the ring once again. Gatti, the fierce competitor, shows up every night. His legendary comeback brawls against tough opponents have provided unlimited entertainment value. In 1995, Gatti captured the junior lightweight title in a war with Tracy Patterson. A few months later, we saw one of the great comeback efforts in boxing history when Gatti, with both eyes swollen shut, shocked Wilson Rodriguez with a 6th-round knockout. So exciting, the bout was selected as the fight of the year for 1996. Then earlier this year, Gatti entertained fans once again in a fierce victory over Calvin Grove. So Arturo Gatti's name has become synonymous with excitement in the ring. But tonight, Angel Manfredy joins a strong list of opponents looking to end Arturo's streak of incredible KO comebacks. Angel is a study in contrasts. A born-again Christian, Manfredy embraces the nickname El Diablo, the devil, and he wears the moniker like an old friend, brandishing his body laced with symbolic tattoos. Manfredy isn't used to being on the canvas. He's got a showman's flair and packs a sharp punch. Arturo "Thunder" Gatti and Angel Manfredy, all the ingredients for another classic confrontation. Tonight, from the Atlantic City Convention Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey, HBO Sports again presents World Championship Boxing. Our night begins with a matchup of two of boxing's young and upcoming heavyweights, Michael Grant and David Izon. That'll be followed by the most resilient and perhaps the most exciting fighter in the sport today, Arturo "Thunder" Gatti, who will face the ever-tough Angel Manfredy in a lightweight bout scheduled for 12 rounds. A chilly weekend on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Many of the knowledgeable boxing fans in the audience making the short walk from the sponsor hotel, Bally's Park Place Casino, down the boardwalk to the convention hall, where they've gotten ready now on a thrilling undercard for the main events of the evening, the heavyweight bout, and then Gatti against Manfredy in one of the most anticipated fights of the early year. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to this inaugural edition of World Championship Boxing in 1998. Our main event tonight is a fight so hotly anticipated by the inner circle of boxing fans that if it only begins to live up to its billing, it should be an early candidate for Fight of the Year. Ever since October, when Arturo Gatti survived his war with Gabriel Ruelas and then announced that he would go ahead and take on the man who'd been calling him out for the entire preceding year, Angel Manfredy, boxing fans and writers and commentators have been getting ready for this one. But the appetizer is almost as exciting. And for more on that, we turn to HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. Larry, David Izon and Michael Grant, either or both could have a big future in the heavyweight division. Where do they fit into the heavyweight picture right now?
Right now, all the young heavyweights, Jim, fit in that little insert down in the right-hand corner. They're not yet in the big part of the picture. The heavyweight division has been dominated in the 90s by 4 or 5 men, reduced now to Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis, both of whom are in their 30s. So we're waiting for Generation Who to produce a real serious challenger, a hopeful that we can watch and see his evolution as he climbs through the ranks. We've prepared a graphic to give you an idea of some of the suspects and some of the projects. We thought Ike Iabuchi might be the one, but he has some serious legal problems. David Tua, who lost to Iabuchi, just back from an elbow operation, an elbow injury bothering him in that fight. There's David Izan, who gave Tua all he can handle and then stopped Alou Savarese. Hasim Rahman, who has the raw stuff, but we don't know yet whether he has the right stuff. And Michael Grant, more about him. Chris Bird, the slick, quick southpaw, the skunk at the party. Nobody wants to fight him. Kirk Johnson, a good boxer, puncher, who might develop lately, has been idle between promoters. What we look for in the heavyweight division as we search these prospects and suspects is somebody not only who might fight his way toward a title, but somebody who might grab the public by the throat and the eyeballs and say, you got to watch me. Michael Grant appears to have that kind of material to connect with an audience because he's so big and so strong. He's got a shot, Jim, but he's going to have to shoot down Izan, and that's not a small job for him tonight.
No, it isn't. And interesting, Larry, as we look at those 7 faces, that 2 of the 7, Ibe Abuchi and Izan, were both Nigerian amateur stars. Maybe Izan can pull an upset over Grant the way Ibe Abuchi did over Tua at a moment when Tua looked like perhaps the best of the crop. And of course, it's always a privilege when you're getting ready to watch developing heavyweights to do it with the man who knows as much about the science of heavyweight boxing as any other, our expert commentator, George Foreman. George, when you look at heavyweights who are on the way up and try to size up their futures, what's the one most important thing you look for?
Courage.
Really?
You look for courage. Joe Louis, Joe Frazier, even the great Muhammad Ali, they weren't really big on the scale. They weren't enormously big giants. They had courage. You knocked them down, then the fight would begin. So I don't know who's going to prevail tonight, but I know we're looking for some courage in the heavyweight division.
And we might see it from either David Izan or Michael Grant or both. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape now, and you'll see the remarkable size advantage for Grant. 6'7", 252 pounds on the scale yesterday. Former high school basketball and football and baseball star who has athletic talent to go with his enormous size. You see that Izan gives up 4 years in age, 4 inches in height, 25.5 pounds in weight, and 6 inches in reach to Michael Grant, and that's a lot of the reason why Grant is the betting favorite in the bout. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
Take a look and see how active these fighters are. You can see that Izan is the more active. He may even have to be more active than this to get inside Grant's long reach. And here you'll see the jab. Both of them do use a jab. Grant potentially has a monster jab.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, heavyweight Harold Letterman.
The Michael Grant David Izan fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the new standardized rules for all World Championship fights. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell at any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
This one not a World Championship fight. Both fighters hoping that they someday have that privilege. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introduction. No, let's not. First, let's bring David Izan into the ring. My fault, forgetting, of course, that the fighters have not yet made their way in. And as you look at Izan, I mentioned his career as a Nigerian amateur. He won the Olympic silver medal in the heavyweight division in 1992 at Barcelona under his previous name, David Izanrete. David is now fighting out of Pensacola, Florida, a member of Team Roy Jones, if you will. You see trainer Alton Merkerson behind him. And he has changed his name to Izan, to the great relief of all of us who wrestled with Izanrete for the months preceding that change in his life.
Who are you talking about, Jim?
No names necessary. I think it was Larry Merchant, Jim Lamplay, some of the others. And the record for Izan, 20 wins, 2 losses. No draws, 18 KOs. He rose through the ranks with 16 consecutive wins in 1994 and 1995, most of them in Europe and Argentina. and his most significant win came on November 1 of this past year at the Apollo Theater in New York, when he was an underdog against Lou Savarese, who had given a good account of himself earlier in the year against George Foreman, and Izon was able to knock Savarese out with that right-hand shot in the 5th round.
One thing about Izon that doesn't show up in the record, Jim, he had about 90-some-odd amateur fights, many of them against top-flight international competition. That does count for something going against a Michael Grant, who had a very brief amateur career. Here he is against local challengers.
George, what's going to happen to that grease on Grant's face?
Well, you should tone it down a little bit, but you want to put it on thick, then wipe some of it out during the fight or just prior to the fight.
It looks like
good to soak it down at first like that.
Looks like he's worried about the sun getting in his eyes, being a football player.
Coming out of high school in Chicago, Illinois, he was offered Major League Baseball tryouts because of his 90-mile-per-hour fastball. Opted instead to go to a California junior college, looking to enhance his skills as a power forward in basketball and as a football player, and ultimately wound up being lured into boxing on a chance meeting with Richard Steele, the famous Las Vegas referee who helped steer Grant toward the boxing gym for the first time just a few years back. Since that time, Michael Grant has racked up an outstanding professional record. 26 wins, no losses, no draws, 18 KOs. He's never been knocked down. He's had a couple of tough decisions. One of his most impressive wins was over Jorge Luis Gonzalez, the former Cuban amateur star, who at one point had been regarded as a strong opponent for Riddick Bowe. Grant got Gonzalez in November of last year and knocked him out in the 1st round. A big man with a big right hand, Larry.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that folks like to see. He still is 3 or 4 or 5 fights away, perhaps, from being at the best he can be, and this has got to be one of the fights.
And now let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Atlantic City's Convention Hall by way of Bally's Park Place, where tonight, main events in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Present an evening of professional boxing for your entertainment. The first bout tonight is also presented along with Cedric Kushner Promotions and sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr. It is also sanctioned by the International Boxing Council, President Joseph Blackie Gennaro, IBC Supervisor Debbie Jones. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system are Emil Conforti, Tim Figley, and Paul Venti. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, your referee, Frank Cappuccino. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Bally's Park Place, Atlantic City, 12 rounds of boxing for the IBC World Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing purple trimmed with white. His weight, 226½ pounds. He fights out of Pensacola, Florida, and brings a professional record into the ring consisting of 20 victories, 18 by knockout, against 2 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, David Izon. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black and weighing in at 252 pounds. His professional record, a perfect 26 consecutive victories, 18 by knockout. He comes to us from Norristown, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the undefeated IBC World Heavyweight Champion, Michael
David. Michael, good evening, gentlemen. You were both given your instructions. Both of you touch gloves. Touch gloves, man. Let's go. I'll take care of that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay, that's it. Back to your corner, baby.
All right, in keeping what George was saying earlier, in one of his recent fights, Michael Grant was hit on the chin very hard, George, it seemed, and he didn't even blink. If he can blink off Izan's punches, we may have somebody special here.
What about the positioning of Grant's cup, George?
Yeah, that's not very good. You're going to get a lot of calls if they're going to call that hitting below the belt, because that cup is really protecting his stomach.
As tall as he is, it looks about 5 feet off the ground.
Stay in the corner, fellas.
And those are good body shots. That cup is protecting the body, which shouldn't be.
And Frank Cappuccino, the referee, allows the bell to ring to begin round number 1. Izan comes out trying to work his jab, and Michael Grant steps up to work his jab and follows up with a right hand.
Keep him up now.
And now Cappuccino immediately tells Grant to keep them up. Michael Grant, on November 13, 1992, watched the thrilling heavyweight battle between Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield, the first Bowe-Holyfield fight, and said to himself, I can do that.
Let him out,
he
let him
had
out, let him
never
go.
boxed prior to that. So he's come a long way in a very short period of time, but he's in against a much more experienced fighter in Izan, who, as David Izanrate, had a long and storied amateur career in Nigeria.
Izan was able to get in a good left jab of his own, and that's what you don't want a shorter opponent to establish his left jab in the first couple of rounds.
All right, get out.
Then
boys. Come on,
the bigger
come on.
guy has to get on the run.
One thing about Izan is he showed against both Savarese and in his tough loss to David Tua, he's utterly fearless. When you tell him he has to step up inside of somebody's power, he's going to step up inside.
Now, as long as the fight is from close range, Izan is in control.
Grant trying to work his long arms free for punching room here. They go back to the center of the ring, and Grant begins to pump the jab again, and Izan again tries to step up inside and backs Grant up as he goes to the body.
Yeah, Grant wants to stay in the middle of the ring, so he always have 2 or 3 steps before his back touches the rope.
Huge day for Izan's trainer, Alton Merkerson. You'll see in between rounds. His son played in the Senior Bowl today.
Very good right hand by Izan in close.
And a left hook to follow up, and now he sticks the jab right in Grant's face, and David Izan has made some statements in the first 2 minutes of the fight.
Whenever the fight is at close range, Grant seems to have an easy time. So you want to keep this guy Izan on the end of your left jab, wait a couple of rounds, sneak in a right hand every now and then.
That's exactly what Grant was able to do in those last 10 seconds while George Foreman was describing the ideal action for Grant. Grant landing a couple of jabs and then popping in a quick right hand.
Izan, he should get even lower so he can make Grant lower his hands a little bit so he can spring up and get left hooks in. What you want the bigger guy to do, to lean down, point his defense down at you so you can get openings.
Grant trying to dig a left hook to Izan's rib cage.
What impressed me about Grant in that first round was not just a jab, but he went to the body. He was patient. He showed some professional poise in there.
Don Turner, the trainer for Michael Grant, also trains Evander Holyfield now, has trained Larry Holmes in the past, and has set up Grant. He has the potential to be the greatest heavyweight champion of all time.
Mean it with that left hook, man. Open up. You understand? Mean it.
Uppercut to the body. Okay? You gotta follow his punches back in. Don't stay out on the end of it. Okay? Take deep breath. Remember, don't head hunt so much. Kill the body to hit a fall. You're not busy on
There's the right hand, high on the head of Grant. Didn't seem to faze him.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Imagine being 6'3" and 226 or 7, George, and looking small in there.
Grant able to get off 71 punches in round 1, landed 25 of them. Izon landing more than half of his 41 blows, and there's a solid left hook up top by David Izon, and Michael Grant comes back working to the body.
Well, get them hands loose. Let him go. Let him go. Dave. Let him go, Michael.
David Izon may have is that he's fought all over the country as an amateur, and believe me, the European fighters are tall, just like Grant.
Up, you're going too low, man. Let's go.
So you get accustomed to fighting tall guys with a better reach, and they're schooled in Europe to use that reach advantage.
Grant has been warned twice for low blows by Cappuccino. If your trainer Don Turner, I think you're hoping that Grant will be able to keep punching to the body anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to let the referee make the fight. You just keep fighting your fights. If he warn you occasionally, just keep doing what you're doing if it's good.
Grant threw 50 jabs in round 1 and got to the body as well. Pretty good formula for a potential Michael Grant victory. But Izon showed his ability to connect as well.
Now, Grant, with the great height and reach advantage, is not allowing himself to take charge. You want to sting him with the left jab, keep him out there, make him want to run away from you.
Let him go.
Well, of course, Savarese had a big height and reach advantage against Izon as well, but David was able to get inside and do damage. He'll try to do the same thing here.
Now Grant is even dropping his right hand just a little bit. You don't want to do that with a good puncher. Keep that hand up even if you can't get a good shot in.
Good counter punching by Izon there. Grant comes back with a quick left hook.
Break. Break. Step back. Step back.
Izon leaping and lunging a little bit to try to get that right hand in.
That's what you want to do with your height advantage. Make your opponent leap, jump at everything he gets in so he can get tired.
Let him out. Let him go. Let him go, Michael. Let him go. You're holding him, man.
I see a cut over the left eye of Izon from those jabs. I'm not sure how serious it is.
Step back.
We'll take a closer look.
Yeah, when you have a good left jab like that and you're young, you have a tendency not to notice the damage it's doing.
Boy, it's a heavy jab, George.
You're supposed to just keep jabbing. Don't get discouraged.
He's not pawing that thing. He's shooting it.
Izon's left eye swelled against Savarese. Didn't damage him that much in the fight, but Larry has already pointed out quite correctly that there appears to be a cut over Izon's left eye right now, and now Murkerson and his co-workers in the corner are going to go to work, and a doctor is going to come in to take a look immediately at the cut. There it is.
Take a deep breath. Give me the water bottle.
Oh, that's a deep one.
And it's in a bad spot because the blood can't go anyplace except into the eye.
It was a punch, yes.
And you heard Frank Cappuccino telling Larry Hazard, the New Jersey State Athletic Commission chairman at ringside, that it was a punch which caused the cut, not a butt.
Come on, just think about the fight.
And you heard Cappuccino saying that's awful deep.
Hands high. Get
as
close.
he talked to the commission doctor.
Man. Okay? Come on, pull.
Izon's cut man is a doctor, Dr. Richard Lucy. He was the key man in the corner during that 1 minute break.
Let's go.
So a little extra sense of urgency now for David Izon as we begin round number 3. Michael Grant having established the jab and having established a target to go to work on. Good body shot by Grant in counter. Izon firing the right hand.
Well, sometimes a cut like that will make you desperate, and he should have started off a little desperate rather than waiting for Grant to hit him with his left jab.
You guys better break.
Izon should get desperate and should have stayed desperate.
Let him go. Get off his neck, Michael. Get off his neck. Break.
Another good right hand by Izon.
Step back.
Izon should take one step forward before he gets in position so he can get a little closer.
Get him loose. Get them hands loose.
One thing you look for in a prospect like Grant How good is his chin against a professional puncher? And he seems to be handling Izon's shots pretty well so far.
The blood at the right eye, over the left eye, suggests that it might have been caused by a right hand, although it could have been caused by a jab.
Low blow by Grant.
That's twice. The next time you hit him low, man, that's it. Let's go, David. Let's go, David.
That's a warning, not a point deduction.
But that was a good punch to the bottom. He should allow him to rest a little bit. He got him right there beyond the cup, below the cup.
Now, Grant has this fight in hand. We'll see if he plays this smart and is extremely careful about anything he throws to the body.
Izon should do some bobbing and weaving.
The hand's loose. Let him go.
You're smaller. Keep that head as a target.
Right hand landed for Izon. Grant landed the uppercut in return.
Grant is doing an old tactic there. He's getting that big heavy body, leaning on top of Izon. That can get you tired. Like being a weightlifter out there.
He's throwing some borderline low punches.
Trying to land that right hand uppercut and finish things off with it.
All right, break. Step back, step back, step back.
Izon showing his courage. Can never doubt the will and the resiliency of David Izon. Hung in through 12 long rounds with David Tua, taking a lot of Tua's thunderous left hook. We're finally going away in the closing seconds of the 12th. Took some hard punches from Savarese before putting him away. But Michael Grant is fully in control of this bout, and the cut over the left eye poses a major problem now for David Izon.
Let your hands go. He's shooting 3- and 4-point combinations. You just shooting 1 and 2. Let your hands go. Light, strong combinations, okay? Light, strong combinations. Quit lining up on his right-hand side. Move around to his left a little bit. Dig that left uppercut to the body. Come over the top with the right hand. You understand? Take a deep breath. You got to stay busy on the inside. You understand?
I'm telling you right now.
You're in the right place, but stay on his left shoulder. Don't line up in front of him.
Let's see if we can pick out the blow that caused the cut. It might have been right there. It is right in the area where the cut is. You see Izon moving his right glove across his eye. And here in this last round is the low blow just below the belt. It hurt Izon.
So now Dr. Richard Lucy has had a second chance to work on Izon's cut. The salve marks the spot for you. And Michael Grant,
get out.
who has actually been warned 3 times by Frank Cappuccino for low blows, once in each of the 3 preceding rounds, is probably facing a point deduction the next time he's guilty of that offense.
And the referee's been really kind to Grant because he overlooked a few more afterwards that were low.
Izon able to snap Grant's head back with a straight left hand. Now Grant stuffs the left hand into Izon's mouth and keeps looking to land that uppercut. Straight right hand landed for Grant. Izon a little wobbly now as he goes back into the ropes. Michael Grant showing the power in his short, straight right cross.
It was Izon who initiated all of that action. When you're in the ring with these young, undeveloped professionals, you hit them hard, be sure they're going to come back and try and pay you back. So he better be prepared once he lands one good shot.
Let him go, Michael.
To cover up, because Grant is going to get him back.
Busy pace so far in the first 3 rounds. Michael Grant averaged 65 punches per round. When a 252-pound guy is throwing 65 punches per round, he's working.
It's a shame that they allowed Grant to have his cup up so high. Not only protecting him below the belt, but way above the belt.
Yeah, it makes it tougher for Izon to do damage with body punches.
Yeah, and I don't know how that happened.
I haven't noticed Izon throwing many body punches, have you? Good right hand. That seemed to have hurt Izon badly.
Let me tell you, he's hurt.
He's been partially wobbly ever since the first right hand earlier in the round. Now Grant has landed another one, but here comes Izon, who has a deep reservoir of will.
Grant has got good balance. Always seem to have good footwork. Never out of position to land that right hand.
Right uppercut landed for Grant.
Get off his neck. Get off his neck.
Izon winging shots from side to side and leaving openings up the middle.
You're holding too much, Michael.
That's where Grant has done his damage, up the middle with the straight jab, the straight right hand, and the uppercut.
Izon should keep the fight just at that pace. Don't try to let up. It's an
Bell.
He's got to hope that Grant gets careless. And still to come, Arturo "Thunder" Gatti, regarded by many as the world's most exciting fighter, constantly on the brink of disaster. And Angel Manfredy told us he won't come back from disaster tonight. He's going away.
If you're on the inside, you got to let your hands go. If you feel them on the outside, roll your punch over. If you catch a hook, come over with your right hand. If you catch a right hand, come over with your hook. Okay? His punches are coming wide. That uppercut, you got to rock back on it, sit down on it, and hook off of it. Okay? Come on, you're not busy enough on the inside. This kid tired, he tires on the inside. But you got to be busy in him. Clean him up, Doc.
Early in the round, you see Izon hurting Grant. Grant coming back. Two spirited young fighters with everything to look forward to.
How'd you score the first 4 rounds?
Jim, 3 rounds to 1, 39-37, Michael Grant. I gave David Izon the first round, but you know, on the basis of that big right hand. But Jim, I got to point something out to you. Michael Grant is really badly guilty of healing. In other words, he opens up that left glove and he shoves it in Izon's face.
Right now, Grant has Izon in a lot of trouble as the result of another short right hand. Izon showing his courage and resiliency again, but seemed almost to go down from a hard Grant right hand, and Grant is looking for a way to put him on the canvas. Another right hand lands. Izon getting out of the way. Grant hits him in the back of the head. Cappuccino pulls him apart and is going to stop the fight.
Taking too many shots, man. Taking too many shots, my buddy.
Technical knockout in the 5th round for Michael Grant.
One of the things I like about Michael Grant, Jim, is that massive chest. It's the kind of chest that we're going to see on the covers of magazines someday. The kind of chest that people are going to want to come out to see.
It's an athlete's chest.
Yeah, well, it might be the best chest I've seen in Atlantic City since Susan Sarandon in the movie Atlantic City. And I mean that in a way that
Susan's watching tonight.
He's got. There's something there. There's something you want to see this guy. What is this guy going to do then next?
The meek shall prevail.
Look at me, Michael. Look at me.
Thank God you weren't too meek. And my Lord.
Well, here's another look at the final flurry. Izon continued to come forward against a bigger puncher, and that's a very dangerous thing to do, George.
Yep, you never follow a puncher, but he had to stay close. He had no other alternative but to stay close. And it just didn't pay off tonight. Sometimes you're in with powerful punchers, and you get a good day, and the next time, maybe not.
Grant landed too many right hands, and it's only because of Izon's extraordinary resiliency that he was able to stay on his feet.
Yeah, the referee was very kind. He allowed him to land some good shots to see if Izon would recover and throw some punches back. He never did. So what do? A guy's turning his back over and over. You help him.
So good stoppage.
Good stoppage. This guy, Izon, has a lot of courage. They don't know how to stop themselves. You need help.
All right, let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Bally's Park Place, Atlantic City, referee Frank Cappuccino calls a halt to this bout At 1 minute, 7 seconds of round number 5, the winner by TKO victory and still the undefeated IBC World Heavyweight Champion, Michael Grant.
Thank God for everything. I give thanks for every fighter here tonight that came in with no serious hurt, harm, or danger.
Michael.
Very religious young man, Michael Grant. And when you're that kind of an athlete and you have the help of people like Don Turner and Tommy Brooks, whom you saw in the ring with him, and the support of a manager like Bill Caton, you've got an excellent chance to go very far in the sport. It's going to be fascinating to see where he goes.
Grant was good enough, even after every round, he'd start back with his left jab. That's odd to see a fighter do that.
Well schooled. Larry Merchant with the winner, Michael Grant.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Michael. Was this, Michael,
What's up, Larry?
was this the toughest guy you fought yet in David Eisen?
I think he was the strongest, but, you know, I like his consistency of trying to win. Because, you know, I thought in the corner, like, oh, man, I got to go back and listen to Don Turner. Oh, man. I know this is going to be a wild one. This 1 minute going to be the longest 1 minute in 12 rounds.
One of the things that George Foreman has been saying is that what he looks for in a young heavyweight is the ability to take a punch and come back. Were you ever buzzed or hurt by Eisen? He hit you some pretty good punches, it appeared.
You know what? What was it, the first round that when the crowd first got aroused, I was surprised. I said, oh, he's trying to win. But, you know, God bless him. But I was able to overcome all that and just stick with my God-gifted ability and just use a jab, as I heard down in the corner, Tommy Brooks. And hey, I'm happy.
Did the jab win the fight for you?
You know, the jab was the key, but I knew that somewhere along this fight, I had to take my angles, because my angles is what killed it. My angles is what destroyed it.
What do you see for yourself in the immediate future? Are you in a rush to get a title shot? Are you willing to be patient and wait for it to happen at the right time?
I told you I'm gonna let my days speak for me, and the multitude of my years be my wisdom. What, am I in a rush? No, I ain't in a rush. Everybody see a lot of years in me. Everybody see a world champion in me. I don't have anything to do, Larry, but to be thankful, and I hope that I can be the best there is of the world today.
Thank you very, very much. Now, Don Turner, I'd like to ask you to tell us what you thought of how he finished the fight tonight, and what kind of timetable do you have in your mind as a trainer who wants to see him have the best shot at winning a title when he finally gets the chance? We'll get that footage up in a minute, but talk to us about when is he going to be ready for the big guys?
Well, like I told you yesterday, I think he's about, you know, yesterday it was 4 fights. He's about 3 fights away from being the best that he can. You know, he got to mature a little more. The moment he throw combinations, the guy's out of the fight. He just have to get in his mind that he's going to start throwing combinations from round 1.
Can a big guy like Michael do the kind of things that small guys can do?
I think so.
All right. Thank you very much. Jim?
Oh, wait a minute.
All right, Larry, and let's take one last look at the closing sequence in the fight. And you're going to see Michael Grant land 47 unanswered blows. That's 47 blows in a row. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Quite a flurry from this point forward. And among other things, George, he showed good, solid technique when he was within his envelope, and then when he had a chance to finish, he threw everything imaginable.
No doubt about it. This guy's been well schooled in the gym. He stepped to his right to make sure that he wouldn't get hit in any of the exchanges, plus kept the power coming.
So
good
what's
balance.
the weakness? What does he have to learn before you could envision putting him in with a Lennox Lewis or an Evander Holyfield?
Well, his trainer said it more. He started off tentative. He's a little like he didn't know what to do. You got to start off with that power, show your opponent, hey, I can do this all night. Then you won't get into any trouble at all. Once he establishes who he is in that ring, he won't have any problems from that point on.
Solid, well-grounded young man. He wants to let his days speak for him and let the multitude of them, well, I didn't get it right, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Well, he's got a lot of wisdom. Evidently, the right people are saying the right things to him, and that's the sign of a good champion in the future.
Hang right here. We got an exciting bout coming up, George. Larry, your final comments on Michael Grant's terrific performance.
Well, I think this performance moves him to the head of the head of the class of the young heavyweights we showed. He's going to get some shots, and soon people are going to want to see him again. I want to see him again against the best class of competition he can handle at this point. Right now, he's the standout.
All right, let's get ready for a hotly anticipated main event. And as we mentioned, back on October 4, when Arturo Gatti survived his latest life and death battle with Gabriel Ruelas, and very shortly after that, he said that he would go ahead and give a chance to the man who has been dogging him for more than a year. He elected to go ahead and take on Angel Manfredy. Gatti's been compared to Rocky Graziano because of the nature of his fights. If so, Manfredy is Tony Zale. He even comes from Zale's hometown, Gary, Indiana.
This guy looks like a street guy. I mean, he got tattoos all on him, you know. He's scarred, looks nasty, and calls himself the devil, but his name's Angel, and he's always talking about the Lord, you know. I mean, and what, is this guy confused, you know? No, I'm not confused. I'm just letting people know that what side are you going to take?
In which direction would Angel Manfredy's contradictory life turn? Growing up as a street fighter in tough East Chicago, Indiana, he was surely destined for trouble.
Now, this is where the boxers from hell train. You don't get no closer to hell than this. I had friends that were gangbangers. I had friends that were drug dealers. I had friends that were, you know, doing the drugs and everything.
4 years ago, the drug-using, hell-raising teenager reached a breaking point in one final confrontation with his dad.
He kept on asking me, you know, do you do drugs? Do you do drugs? And I told him. And it kind of hurt. And I can see his face. And that's one person I wanted to, he's a person I wanted to prove that he was a man that I wanted to prove that I could be somebody.
But his tailspin intensified. Already an out-of-control driver with 10 car wrecks, Manfredy, blinded by booze and rain, cheated death in his 11th accident, splitting apart both a telephone pole and his face.
Never go back. Never. Then I just remember blanking out and begging the Lord for my life, for another chance. And then me waking up in the hospital, and all I was thinking about it was, would I be able to fight again?
The near-death experience inspired Angel Manfredy to Christianity. And miraculously, with about 200 stitches still healing, he was back in the gym 10 days later. Angel's recovery led his dad and the family to reunite with the once lost warrior. Now his brother John serves as Angel's manager, pumping his fighting spirit with even more determination.
Take care of business. We're gonna take care of business, all right.
Angel Manfredy scores a sensational 8th-round knockout.
Just pick a person apart. Take his soul. Take his heart.
He looks like a circus act, but he is a fighter.
Back from the dead in the wake of his accident, Angel took the dark side of his past to heart and nicknamed himself El Diablo. Along with the devil persona came a growing passion for tattoos. Last count, over 20.
Part of my life, which is half devil, half angel, half black, half color. We go down to fire. It's basically flames. The tripod going around my shoulder means speed. Devil himself, which is the face of me. And you go into the angel side, the half of me. Color basically means power. Manfredy, Puerto Rican, which means my love for my race. If you don't change your life, you end up 6 feet under. You know, as I take off that mask, I feel all the angels are with me.
Tonight, the reborn devil in disguise faces his biggest test in Arturo Gatti. Angel Manfredy's evil image goes only so far. It's his ring skills that will determine his true identity. They continue to warm up in their respective dressing rooms. Coming up live in just a few minutes, Arturo Gatti against Angel Manfredy in the early fireworks fight of 1998. Larry Merchant, in a recent telecast of a Manfredy fight here, you said that he looks like something out of the circus. What got him this great opportunity fight with Gatti? Is it the circus act or his talent?
Well, obviously it's both. This is a kid who not only wants to be shot out of the cannon, he thinks he's the cannon as well. He reminds me of the young Hector Camacho and Jorge Paez showman boxers, who in turn remind me of the old football coach who recruited a tumbler from a gym class, used him as a man in motion on the first play of a game, and while everybody was watching him do backflips across the field, the quarterback handed the ball to the fullback, who slammed up the middle for 15 yards. What you first see in Manfredy is not what you get. And there are a lot of people in boxing, Jim, who think he can slam up the middle against Gatti and into the end zone, in fact.
Well, he's shown himself to be a sharp, accurate, fluid, creative puncher. And George Foreman, he gets to go in against a guy who is accustomed to bailing himself out with his big punching power, who's also accustomed to getting in a lot of trouble. Now, what's the better frame of mind for Manfredy, to be thinking about what great opportunities he's going to have to get Gatti in trouble, or to be thinking about the danger that faces him once he does?
Well, Manfredy should try and win every round. Don't go for the knockout. If he gets a knockdown, go back to the same thing that brought you the knockdown. Don't start to mix it up. It can easily turn into Gatti's kind of fight. He can win it, but he's got to stay slick, stay in the right mood. The trainers are going to have the biggest fight tonight, not to start mixing it up, turn it into a brawl.
So Manfredy has to be disciplined enough to remember that he's the boxer and his advantage is to box.
Get a knockdown, go right back into boxing. Gatti should try to keep it a brawl.
Although Manfredy himself has a warrior personality and even said, I'm going to go right after him. That may not be the most advisable thing to do. When you get Arturo Gatti in trouble, you are in the jaws of the lion. Arturo Gatti's fighting style comes straight out of central casting for Hollywood boxing melodrama.
Can you believe Arturo Gatti?
What a drama! He fights continuously on the verge of defeat.
He takes a hard one on the chin, and another. Rodriguez turns it around.
Whether on the canvas or swollen blind, he presses on.
My nominee for Fight of the Year.
The 27-year-old Gatti began making a name for himself in December of '95, when he fought for Tracy Patterson's junior lightweight belt. After controlling the early rounds, Gatti took serious punishment as the fight progressed.
Gatti unable to defend himself now.
With his eyes rapidly closing, he showed his resiliency.
I didn't see the punches coming in the 11th and 12th. And I'm sure there's a time for everybody in a lifetime. You want to keep going or you want to quit. And when my eyes were shut, I was tired, fatigue, a lot of fatigue, and but inside of my heart, I knew I wanted to be the world champion, and I showed the whole world that I was a true champion.
Off a gutty decision, Gatti's stature as a crowd pleaser took root. 3 months later, it was solidified in his first title defense. Dropped for the first time, Gatti had to confront his worst fears.
Down on a short left hook inside.
On the verge of superstardom, Arturo Gatti is in serious trouble. In round 2.
It's a scary moment, and it don't last too long, but it feels like a lifetime. I see my career go by in a matter of seconds. I say fear is good to have fear inside of you. Fear of all you've sacrificed all your life. Fear is the one that keeps you going.
Cover your left eye or it's over. How many fingers? Guy said cover. How many fingers? Now.
The funny thing about him in that fight and in all of his great fights, just when it appears he's in the point of losing, that's when the other guy's in big trouble and he turns around and finds a way to win the fight.
Arturo Gatti, comeback win.
These back-to-back brawls played out like Rocky and the sequel. Then against Gabe Ruelas, Gatti fought another Oscar-winning performance. Seemingly hopeless at the end of the 4th round, the champ claims he used the crowd to spur him on.
Ruelas with a chance.
It's when I'm hurt or I'm in trouble. I know I'm in trouble. I see everything and I hear all the crowd. I see my trainer, I see my mom ringside, and looking at that, you know, it inspires me a lot. It kind of wakes me up.
With his corner pleading for him to outbox Ruelas, Gatti opted instead for his all-out war approach, defending the title in spectacular fashion.
My life is on the line. Like, people got to understand it. This, I got hit a lot, but I got to do what it takes to win the fight.
It says no more. Can you believe Arturo Gatti?
At the end, I always say, can this kid go on doing that? Can he take that much of abuse? I'm not worried about what's going to happen to me. We're not playing tennis there or golf. It's fighting.
But Gatti has paid a high price for his victories. His tendency to swell up, his impatience in the ring, his willingness to absorb punishment, all raise serious questions about his future.
He's flawed, which causes him problems, and then he overcomes those flaws, and people love to see that. But Gatti's love affair with the buzz of the crowd is what's going to get him in the end, because he's paying too high a price to win all these fights, and eventually the same crowd that is hollering his name is going to be, you know, barely silently sitting there when he gets pounded out by somebody, because he's asking too much of himself.
I'm happy to walk out of the ring and people say, wow, that's just the greatest fight I've ever seen. I got a reputation to be the warrior. So the warrior has got to be there every fight. People will never be upset to come and see Arturo Gatti fight. Never.
So for the face-first slugger, the trick now is to maintain his blood and guts reputation without endangering his future. But Arturo Gatti accepts nothing less than fistic melodrama. It's the script that got him this far. And for Gatti, it's been a blockbuster. Back live at ringside, and Larry Merchant, you heard Ron Borges of the Boston Globe articulating the widespread point of view that Gatti is a certain kind of fool that likes to hear the sound of his own name. What's your take on the whole notion that he's just too exciting for his own good?
Well, he's not too exciting for my own good.
Oh, boy.
Because I love him. I guess my first response is, so what? I mean, sometimes a comet that streaks across the sky for a week moves us in a way that a fixed star really doesn't. There's nothing more exciting in all of sport than a fighter who can fight, wants to fight, and can punch. If we had a couple of dozen like Arturo Gatti, the networks would be spending all those billions of dollars on boxing and not on the NFL. Secondly, we don't really know that he's going to have a short career. I ran into Don Turner this afternoon on the boardwalk, and we were talking about that. Don Turner trains a pretty good action fighter named Evander Holyfield, and he said, well, listen, Henry Armstrong had a long career. Carmen Basilio had a long, great career. Tommy Hearns had a long, great career. And if they lost, people still wanted to see him. Jim, whatever happens to Arturo Gatti, it's the perils of Arturo, and I want to be there when it happens.
There's another implication in the way he fights, too. And George Foreman, all of Gatti's handlers love to point out that he can box, that he has boxing skills, and that if he would simply discipline himself to do it, he could win all of these fights by boxing instead of going to war. But it seems to me likely that when a guy is able to rescue himself as often as Arturo does, eventually he doesn't feel as though he needs to maintain all those boxing skills.
That's right, and all those useless hours in the gym. Box, Gatti, box. It's not going to work. This guy knows that deep down he can pull him out with one punch. He's going to be ready to do that in the fight, and no matter how much the trainers tell him, I'm just not going to do it.
That's great.
It's in him. You came in through blood and guts. You're going to leave out that way.
Well, all that means we're likely to see more of the same here tonight, so let's get ready for it. Tail of the tape now between Arturo Gatti and Angel Manfredy, and you can see the 2-year age advantage for Manfredy, 2-inch height advantage for Gatti. They weighed in at 135 pounds, and Gatti insisted on the fight being made at 135 instead of his previous weight at 130. Now, when he weighed 130 before the Gabriel Ruelas fight, he came into the ring at 146. Tonight, after weighing in at 135, he again comes into the ring at 146. Manfredy, as you see, will be giving up 4 pounds of real weight in the ring. Angel, however, has the 3-inch reach advantage, and that could be significant if, in fact, he's able to make it a boxing match. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
These are the numbers that both fighters amassed against Wilson Rodriguez. You can see that despite his both eyes being shut, Gatti threw more punches against Rodriguez, both throwing about the same degree of accuracy. But here are the numbers of the punches that Rodriguez landed against them, and there is a clear edge for Manfredy, who held them to half of the number of punches that Gatti did.
Rules of the bout with Harold Letterman, who weighs the same today as he did yesterday.
The Arturo Gatti Angel Manfredy fight is scheduled for 12 rounds, non-title. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, Harold. Devil or angel? Which one will he be?
Now, Jim, wasn't there a rock song in the long ago called "I'm a Devil, I'm an Angel"?
Oh, something like that.
Some people say this is too much like wrestling. I have no problem whatsoever with this kind of an act any more than I did with Prince Ahmed, George, because the difference between this and wrestling is only this is staged, the fights are real.
Well, isn't wrestling real also? Sometimes I believe those guys are real.
Well, it's real fake, George.
Oh.
People who watch wrestling want to be sure of the outcome. We're never sure of the outcome.
George is such a romantic, isn't he? Manfredy walking at a pace that would seem to indicate that he saw the Prince Nassim entrance last month at Madison Square Garden. Maybe Angel will invest in some confetti and a ramp for his future appearances.
Yeah, well, the Prince proved that you can dance, but you can't hide.
And the music runs out before El Diablo makes it into the ring. We take a look at Manfredy's record. He lost his very first fight when he was severely overmatched against a 10-round fighter with a ton of experience. Since then, he's 22-1-1 with 18 KOs, 7 of them in the first round. He has said, I'm going to go to war tonight against Arturo Gatti. I've already given him everything he wants, his weight, his date, his style of fight. I'll do everything to make it easy for him.
First things we noticed about Gatti coming in at 135 instead of 130 was that he just looked better. The bones weren't protruding through his face, so presumably he won't be as susceptible to cuts.
Unlike Angel Manfredy and the aforementioned Prince Nassim Hamed, with Gatti, the show is the fight. He is a throwback. As you've often said, Larry, this guy reminds you of the kinds of people who fought and the kinds of fights that we saw back in the 1930s.
Yeah. You know, one of the interesting things, Jim, is that I find that trainers, other trainers who are the purists of boxing,
absolutely loved Gatti. Emmanuel Stewart has been quoted as saying that Gatti's victory over Wilson Rodriguez is the best fight he ever saw.
I know a lot of fans who feel exactly the same way. There's the record. Since the loss to King Solomon, he has been totally unblemished. King Solomon was a cutie who defeated Gatti with a boxing style. 19 of his 24 KOs within 2 rounds. The other 5 are the stuff of legend. And now let's go to Michael Buffer for the official intros.
Ladies and gentlemen, by way of Bally's Park Place, Atlantic City, main events, along with Peltz Boxing and your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you, present the featured bout of the evening. Sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr., Chairman Jerry Gormley, Board members Gary Shaw and Stephen Katz, Deputy Commissioner John Greco, physicians in attendance at ringside, Dr. Dominic Coletta Jr., Dr. Ken Remsen, Dr. Howard Taylor, and Dr. Richard Snepar. The timekeeper at the bell is Lindsey Tucker. Counting for the knockdowns, alternate referee Brian O'Melia. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system will be Henry Grant, Joseph Pasquale, and Alan Rubenstein. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Wayne Hedgepeth. And now the moment we've been waiting for. 12 rounds of boxing as 2 world title holders move from 130 pounds to the lightweight division. So for the thousands in attendance here at Bally's Park Place, Atlantic City, and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with red and weighing 135 pounds. His professional record, 22 victories with 18 knockouts. He has 2 defeats with 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the pride of Indiana, the reigning WBU Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Angel El Diablo Manfredy. And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white, trimmed with blue, and also weighing 135 pounds. His professional record, 29 victories, 24 by knockout with only 1 defeat. From Jersey City, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the reigning IBF Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Arturo Thunder Gatti.
Angel. Good evening, gentlemen. You're both professionals. Remember that. Obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times. Let's have a good, clean bout.
All right, baby. For boxing fans, this is the first big fight of '98. Happy New Year. And let's keep in mind, gentlemen, that Gatti did fight 2 hard-fought boxing victories over Tracy Patterson.
One dark cloud on the horizon for Manfredy. Although he denies it, sources in his training camp indicate that he suffered a rib injury in training 3.5 weeks ago. It is awfully difficult to come back from a significant rib injury and be 100% in a fight. Rib injury supposedly was on the left side of his rib cage again. Angel says, no, that's not true. Various other sources indicate, without wanting to be named, that he did get a bad bruise on the rib cage. Crowd settles into relatively hushed anticipation of the fireworks that are expected in this one. Gatti working behind the jab, so is Angel as the first round develops.
That was a good heavy right hand by Gatti.
Absolutely right. Left hook to the body by Manfredy. Chopping right over the top by Manfredy. Grazed the front of Gatti's face. Gatti a little bit less active now than he was in the first minute of the fight. Now Arturo goes back to working behind the jab. One solid right hand already landed by Gatti. His trainer Hector Rocha says everybody knows about his left hook. I'm working to make his right hand better every day.
Manfredy is the better boxer. If he spent the first 3 rounds missing and getting the rhythm to his punches, he can do a lot better than trying to mix it up too quick.
Brady lands punches from all angles. He's very sharp and very quick. You saw the low blow by Angel Manfredy and the brief warning from Wayne Hedgebeth to keep it up.
The mistake you can make with Gatti is you start bobbing and weaving. He'll have you doing that all night without landing a punch. So Manfredy should, after he make him miss, hit him back.
2 good body shots and a left upstairs by Gatti. Angel Manfredy misses with a wild swinging left. Very tight, compact first round by Gatti, who's managed to do some damage. Manfredy's been landing as well. Straight right hand by Manfredy. Watch the eyes of both fighters. Manfredy landing a solid right hand again.
And there's a cut already over the left eye of Gatti. It could be dangerous.
Well, of course.
Keep it clean, keep it clean.
Yep, the blood is starting to flow from above the left eye as Arturo Gatti goes back to his corner, already cut in the bout.
Gotta be close, go ahead. Shit, huh? It's all right, it's fine, Come on, baby, come on.
Souza, one of the best cut men in the business, going to work.
Don't lock yourself. You try to keep your chin on, you're locking yourself. Okay. You understand what I say? All right. You try to keep that chin low, you want to lock yourself. Don't move. You start good, no, you start getting locked. Okay, don't lock yourself, huh? Tell loose. Okay? Okay. It's nothing, that's in the top only. You got Vaseline, John? Yeah, I got it. Okay, don't lock yourself, huh? Come on, you want to be
quick right by Manfredy, open the cut. Gatti has been vulnerable to that punch in the past. Tracy Patterson almost won their first match with that kind of a punch. A lead, quick right hand.
And what Manfredy has to do now is don't pay any attention to the cut. Keep your mind and your eye on the fight. Cut doesn't mean anything to Gatti.
And you saw the thunderous left hook by Gatti that temporarily knocked Manfredy off balance, but Manfredy, when he gets back into his stance, lands consistently. In round 1, Gatti threw 76 punches, landed 28. Manfredy 22 out of 57.
Keep him up.
Both fighters landing as they stand in the center of the ring and trade shots. Gatti threw 55 jabs in the first round. He's still working behind the jab. If he gets in any more trouble, you will see him go to power shots.
I can tell you, Manfredy likes the way this fight is going. It's a boxing match. Believe me, he can get the best of Gatti. Keep it a boxing match, Manfredy, and make it a brawl for Gatti.
Another flush right hand. Gatti with a habit of dropping the left, and Angel is taking advantage of it big time in these first 2 rounds.
I think so, but he's also paying too much attention to that, to the left eye of Gatti. Go back to the body, get some of the juice taken out of that bubble first.
Angel Manfredy so focused before the fight. One of those cases where it was hard to tell. Is he too far in a zone of his own, or is he properly positioned? First 2 rounds looking good for Angel. Gatti continuing to box, working the left jab. He's only landed a couple of those thunder left hooks that are his trademark. Manfredy continues to land right-hand leads across the top. Now they start to swing away.
Gatti is well schooled. You see Manfredy bob and weave and get low. Gatti gets low also with him.
Left-hand body shot by Manfredy. Follows with a left and a right combination. Angel Manfredy has it going his way.
Now this can be a mistake for Angel Manfredy. Stay with your boxing. Everything came about by way of one shot here and there. Don't try for a finish too quick.
Gatti just missing with a right-hand shot. Manfredy able to duck and slip most of Gatti's heavy power shots early. Angel is by far the more elusive of the two. Good body work by Gatti. And his own straight right hand lands. But the blood continues to flow from above the left eye of Arturo Gatti as round 2 comes to a close.
Arturo, listen, we have to finish with that left hook. You understand? You're not doing your in out. You're right front of the guy waiting.
Go ahead. Arturo, can you see okay?
Yeah. You understand what I said, Arturo? You don't got no move. You're right front of the guy.
You're forgetting what we worked on, the 1-2. That's what you caught him with. I want that more. Right off the jab. If you could hit him with 2 jabs, you could hit him with a right hand. Okay? And come back with the hook. After everyone will come back with the hook.
You're waiting
I can dig up under there.
You're waiting too long. Don't wait on it. Until it's off first. Okay?
And I want more lateral movement. More lateral movement after your punches.
You're standing there. Don't stand there.
Manfredy comes to Gatti and seems to believe that he has the quicker hands and is beating Gatti to the punch more often than not.
Manfredy with much to be confident about now. In the second round, Angel Manfredy threw 37 power punches and landed 24 of them, a 65% connect rate.
The perils of Arturo continue.
No question. Angel Manfredy's 2 co-trainers, John Taylor and Sam Colonna, not well known in the sport. They'll be much better known after tonight if their man can box Gatti out of the ring. And you saw the solid combination there by Manfredy. A right and then a left, landing flush.
What's so good about what Manfredy is doing, he lands a good shot, he steps out of range, which he'd better because Gatti intends to land one back.
Whitaker seated at ringside, good buddy of Arturo Gatti, yelling at his man to use the jab more. But you heard Gatti's trainer, Hector Rocha, between rounds, asking his fighter to finish combinations with the left hook, and Gatti slaps his chin to say, come on, hit me in the jaw. Solid right hand again by Manfredy. Gatti misses with his right, but goes to the body with a combination, Manfredy with a left hook upstairs.
And the good thing about Gatti, he is going to the body. He gets hit hard on the head, but he goes right back to the body. That can make a difference if this fight goes beyond 7 or 8 rounds.
Solid jabs by Gatti. Manfredy slowing down his punch output. Gatti taking advantage, and he lands a left hook. Missed with the right hand. Wayne Hedgepeth tells Manfredy to keep him up. Second warning. Down goes Gatti on a perfect left hook. Textbook left hook by Manfredy.
And he is hurt badly, otherwise he wouldn't have gotten up that quickly. Plenty of time to finish this. But frequently, as we've seen, Gatti is at his most dangerous right now.
Hard to imagine Gatti coming back from this. Manfredy pinpointing his punches as he tries to finish. Now Arturo starts to throw roundhouse shots. He's leaving some openings, but he's still dangerous.
Now, Manfredy makes a mistake. He starts the old crossover too soon for that. You let Gatti close in, he's going to stay in. Keep boxing. Forget about finishing him this round. Stay with your boxing.
Gatti gradually regaining his legs. Lands a solid right hand. And a left hook. Vintage Gatti bring trouble to the opponent. Left hook lands again. Gatti backing Manfredy up as the round comes to a close.
He's going to do it.
I want them to go back to
Okay. Arturo, don't drop your hands. When I said don't go so wild.
I'm not worried about the time. Arturo, talk to you, all right? Feel good? All right, good.
with the right hand. I want the shots up the middle. You're forgetting that what we worked on. I want the shots up the middle. Okay?
Remember
I want
that
the
downstairs.
Shot. Listen, you want this guy out? Get the shot up the middle. He's gonna go.
Manfredy is fighting under control for the most part. He has quicker hands very often. You see the left hook right flush on the jaw and nose.
So Gatti has been cut and he has been knocked down. Angel Manfredy has established himself early and is fighting his fight. You heard his trainer saying, go back to throwing shots up the middle, quit winging them to the side. Gatti eager to get at his man as he tries to come back.
Gatti going right back to the body of Manfredy. That's very important at this point.
Harold Letterman, how'd you score the first 3 rounds?
Wow, Jim, 29-27, 2 rounds to 1. Angel Manfredy. I still gave him a 10-8 round in the third. I thought Gatti won the first, but I'm really impressed by that lead right hand of Angel Manfredy and that left hook of Angel Manfredy. 2-1, Manfredy.
Arturo Gatti remembering to go to the body and now pounding away at Manfredy's ribcage with vicious shots, rights and lefts, and staying almost exclusively downstairs. And now Manfredy drops his hands. And Gatti is making his presence felt with these body punches, George.
This guy's well trained. Manfredy has never had a body attack of this sort. A guy's taller, he's able to reach in and get something to the side every couple of rounds.
Gatti just missing with the kind of left hook that floored Gabe Ruelas.
Now Manfredy is allowing Gatti to get even closer. This you don't want, but it's because of the effectiveness of those body punches.
Big round so far for Gatti. Now Manfredy remembers the instruction to come up the middle and lands a straight left and a straight right. Arturo a little bit punched out right now. Not as much zip in the punches. 1 minute to go in the round.
But because of those effective body punches, if he's able to get a knockdown, Manfredy is not getting up.
Watch your elbows.
Manfredy lands the straight right, but backs up. Manfredy not nearly as aggressive now as he was before the body assault by Gatti. Another left hook lands for Manfredy. Not as much sting. Gatti still coming forward, starting to feel it.
You know, a boxer's greatest fear in those dressing rooms, I don't want to be hurt. Gatti, he has not got that kind of fear.
Well, he knows he's going to be hurt.
He anticipates getting hurt.
He's a high-risk fighter who takes chances, pays for them, and then comes back and redeems the account.
All right, keep it clean.
Hard left hook by Gatti. Goes back to the jab.
That's what you want to do to a boxer. Make him miss, take his confidence away. And that's what Gatti just did.
A big round for Arturo Gatti after he had been decked and almost knocked out in the third.
The drama king is at it again.
Well, let's take a look back and see how it's happened in the past. We've been talking about this, but just to remind you, Gatti against Wilson Rodriguez, March 23, 1996. Rodriguez decking him in the second round after closing both eyes in the first round. Then in the sixth round, that left hook, goodbye Rodriguez. Gatti against Gabe Ruelas, October 4 of last year. Ruelas almost putting Gatti away in the fourth round, coming back and punishing him in the fifth. But then that Gatti left hook put an end to that one. It's the same kind of finish that Arturo will be looking for as he tries to come from behind against Angel Manfredy here.
He's ready. Keep working that body, but bring your hand back. Okay? Second take.
Left wall, left wall.
Stay in your corner, Angel.
Hey, 3 and 4 punches.
punches and landed 50 of them. Many, many to the supposedly damaged rib cage of Angel Manfredy.
Now Manfredy, all he has to do is play wise and just box. Go with the flow. Don't try to charge this guy. Let Gatti keep coming, jab him, go to the body occasionally. Let the fight develop. Don't take it to Gatti, let it develop.
Gatti going back to the body and then upstairs. Manfredy coming up the middle as his trainers have told him to do. Manfredy back to looking more assertive as round 5 begins.
Keep him up, Angel.
Gatti's starting to land more solidly, seemingly aware that the body punches do the damage for him. Manfredy continues to land quick shots upstairs. Not as many in combination as was the case earlier.
Oh, but those body punches.
Hard shots by both fighters.
Watch your head.
Low blow by Gatti. Edgebeth warns him. No point deductions on either side so far. Souza, the cut man, has done a sensational job of keeping Gatti from further damage above the left eye. Short right hand landed flush for Manfredy.
It seemed like it hurt Manfredy's right hand more than it did Gatti's head.
Another good round for Manfredy now as he plays target practice on Gatti's chin. Gatti coming back with power shots.
Manfredy has taken all of the power off his punches now and going for accuracy and on the button shots.
And I know you like that. You like that.
I like that. Power comes.
Crowd
I don't like
chanting Gatti.
I don't like the fact that Manfredy is standing that close to Gatti. It allows him to get a little courage where he doesn't need courage.
Not using his feet.
No, you got to use your footwork. Hit 2 and 3 and move out of the way.
Gatti just missing with that left hook. Landed one beforehand. Blood starting to flow again from above the left eye. Arturo seems oblivious to it. Lands a combination. Hard uppercut. Backing Manfredy up.
Manfredy has some chin, Jim.
He sure does.
Looks like his father gave him that chin from the steel mills of Gary.
The thing about having a chin, you never get in the ring with guys like this but once in a lifetime.
Okay, baby.
No worries.
Okay? Come on. I gotta work.
Nice,
son.
nice, looking good.
I gotta work.
Okay, use me my jab. Use me my jab. No distance. Get him a little distance. Don't step too close on him.
Up the middle. That's where he's a little sweet.
Deep breath.
You're not coming up the middle enough. Okay, take your time. Stay loose.
Yes.
Don't get tight.
Yes.
Okay, stay loose.
Yes.
Keep that jab moving inside. When you're inside short, keep him off you with the jab when he's coming in. Understand? Give me a ring. Give me some water for his mouth.
When we say HBO, that's 30 seconds. If we holler, HBO.
Close of the round. Gatti's still strong.
Stay in your corner. Stay in your corner, Arturo.
Big combination. If he hadn't won the round by then, that won it for him.
What a round. Did you see the punch stat numbers? Gatti 51 out of 106. Manfredy 44 out of 95. Together they landed 95 punches in the round. That was blistering action.
Now Manfredy should go right back to get me into accuracy because Gatti has a defense for big power punches, but he does not have a defense for the small shot. Accurate shot. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gatti trying to decoy Manfredy, looking downstairs and throwing the left hook upstairs. Manfredy well in control of the situation when he keeps his feet, stays in a boxing stance. Gatti able to come through him, lands a big left hook, but no apparent damage to Angel. The body shots seem to hurt Angel more. Hard left hand to the body by Manfredy. scheduled for 12 rounds. It is impossible to imagine both fighters making it the distance at this pace.
If Manfredy is able to move off with his jab now and throw some of those shots, he'll be a little more better off for it.
Well, you saw him land that left hook to the body, left uppercut combination. He came back and tried it again. Angel Manfredy, as we told you at the beginning, lands shots from all angles, and he's proven it here tonight. Gatti with another thunderous left hook, backs up Manfredy again.
Manfredy goes forward with the shorter punches.
Oh, Manfredy has some chin, as Larry Merchant pointed out.
All right, break. All right, keep it clean in there.
Now Manfredy is doing the job of the matador. He stays close and goes in with shorter punches, staying closer to the bull.
Gatti leaping through his left hook that time, but not as many body punches as he was able to land in rounds 4 and 5. And halfway through, this bout is everything it was cracked up to be and more.
Which amazes me, Jim.
How could this bout outlive its hype? But it's doing it.
Okay, Arturo, in this round we have to try, okay? Keep your hand high, get close, and put me some punch. Come on. Come on, Papa, you good? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Come on. Let's turn the body. With both hands.
All right, work the other hand, that's all. Just work it, you understand? Yeah. Work it.
Nothing's stopping. You don't know if it's good.
Okay? I want you to work underneath and over, both, not just the hand.
Early in the round.
Seconds down.
Left hook by Gatti.
Stay there.
Manfredy just walks through it. The advice in the corner of Gatti was, now step it up. Can he step it up?
Well, he's got to do something. Manfredy landed 52 of 81 punches in round 6. A connect percentage of 64%. 40 of them were power shots. Gatti just can't win if Manfredy's going to be allowed to connect at that rate.
Manfredy, whenever he turns this into a boxing match, it gets easier and easier for him. Gatti, when he turns into a fight, takes over.
Tough is it to win a war of wills when you got a big cut over your left eye the way Arturo does, though, George?
It just doesn't seem to bother Arturo Gatti.
Well, it bothered him there. You saw him squinting, and now he can't see through the left eye, and Angel's taking advantage just to land, and Gatti backs him off with a left hook.
Yeah, you want, when you're trying to finish a guy like Gatti, you don't want to be close to him. You want to do it in a boxer style. Left jab, right hand hook, and back out of the way. Because his instincts are to throw another shot.
Hard right hand shot by Manfredy stuns Gatti, and Gatti can't see the right hand coming with the blood flowing over his eye.
When he's got two eyes, he had trouble with the right hand. Now he has about an eye and a half. I don't know how he can survive this fight or even this round.
And Manfredy is doing an excellent job of watching things.
And here comes Arturo. Just when you count him out, he lands a shot like that. And tries to follow it up with more. What guts.
Gatti is trying to recapture his win a little bit, pace himself a bit. But you just can't do that with a fighter like Gatti.
Gatti loading up a right hand and landing it, but no apparent effect on Manfredy. One of the big stories of the bout so far, Manfredy's ability to take and weather Gatti's thunderous power shots.
I think that is the story of the fight, Tim. The fact that Gatti has not been able to get Manfredy in trouble yet, even though he has landed some very good shots.
And Manfredy is doing a good job with his footwork. Left sometimes, right sometimes. Moves.
Very few fighters would have survived some of Gatti's best shots.
In case you joined us late, Angel Manfredy opened up a large cut over the left eye of Arturo Gatti in the second round, floored him with a great left hook in the third round, and since then, they have gone at it toe-to-toe.
Look at me.
Let me have a look, Joe.
Arturo Gatti against Tracy Harris Patterson, December of '95, looked pretty bad, made it through to a decision victory.
Is your vision okay out there?
That's the way he looked after the fight against Wilson Rodriguez.
You hear the doctor saying that the cut is worse than it was. He's examining it closely.
Come on, you're not letting me work, son.
Keep it worse. I would say if he's defending himself and throwing punches, that's up to you. You know what I mean? I mean, it looks like he's still in the fight.
You heard the doctor tell the referee, you can keep it going as long as he can defend himself and keep throwing punches.
Okay. So what do you need a doctor for?
Well, only the referee can stop the fight, George. He's there to instruct the referee.
All right, keep it clean, both of y'all. Whatever you do.
The cut man in Gatti's corner has done an amazing job already of keeping him going this long.
Joe Souza, one of the best. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 7?
Jim, I got it all even. I got it 4 rounds to 3 Arturo Gatti, but in points, 66-66. I've got it all even. Manfredy gets an extra point for that knockdown in round 3, and that's why it's even though Gatti's ahead on the, in rounds. But I'll tell you, this is anybody's fight as long as Gatti can hang in with the cut. Incidentally, the referee will always take the advice of the doctor. If the doctor says stop it, the referee's going to stop it.
Thank you. I don't know why even the doctor would even talk to the referee about it. Just stop it or not.
All right, come out between.
Would you stop it, George, or would you let Arturo Gatti continue?
Well, he's got a left eye he's gonna need a lot longer than a win in a boxing match. So then, if you're a doctor, you want to be in charge of those things.
Well, he's looking at a lot of stitches and a lot of damage right now. But
then again, you're looking at a fighter who's pulled him out like that before.
Absolutely right. He's won fights in worse condition than this.
But then he's in with a boxer who's taking advantage of that eye also. So,
yeah, and he's still the aggressor, George.
Yeah, he's the aggressor like a bull after the matador and all the people have stuck the thing in his shoulder.
Yeah, you're right, but you can't stop the fight if he's continuing to fight and be the aggressor.
Manfredy just trying to land with his punches. Gatti trying to knock Manfredy out. That's what he's got to do.
Now you see a bullfighter, they like to see the charging bull once they start sticking with those things.
Wait, keep it clean.
Left hook by Gatti was partially blocked by Manfredy. Straight right hand also partially blocked. Manfredy just poking and trying to land and remaining elusive defensively to keep Gatti from being able to nail him with one giant shot.
And he's moving and sticking with his jab occasionally. Just doesn't leave much room for an upset knockout.
Manfredy, who at some times during the fight wasn't using his feet well, is using his feet very well in the 8th.
Yeah, and he's looking at that eye. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, but he's not fighting at the same pace as he was earlier. He's moving away. Gatti could steal these rounds, and if he doesn't win a couple of rounds, we have to remember Gatti is fighting basically in his hometown.
Larry, that eye is too bad. They shouldn't let it go on.
And blood is starting to come out. See the doctor one more time.
Like a faucet.
Seconds remaining in the round.
Your corner's throwing the ring. He's tossing the towel in. Stop it.
That'll do it. Angel Manfredy has what he wanted. a stirring victory over Arturo Gatti.
Yeah, that eye, the blood was starting to pour like a faucet. You don't want to fight in this day and age, you see that in a boxing ring, not at all.
And now they are both big stars. There's the cut that prompted the New Jersey Athletic Commission ring doctor to advise the referee to stop it at the same time that Gatti's corner was apparently throwing in the towel.
I think Manfredy did an excellent job of boxing. Never started to fight.
This fight. I knew I could beat Gatti.
He kept his head.
Kept his
all
head.
use that bet money against me. All I gotta say is, God bless you.
Thank you, Angel. Well, we should get a chance to talk to both fighters. Larry Merchant already up in the ring. Promoter Cedric Kushner coming over to ask Arturo Gatti if he's okay, and Joe Souza going back to work to try to do what he can to apply a little therapeutic aid. Gatti will be making his customary trip to the hospital after the official decision is announced. Let's go to Michael Buffer right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Wayne Hedgepeth, acting on the advice of ringside physician Dr. Dominic Coletta Jr., had to call a halt to the bout because of a very severe laceration over the left eye. The official time, it comes at the end of round 8. The winner by TKO victory, Angel El Diablo.
And on the 3 official scorecards, at the time the fight was stopped, Manfredy led on 2 cards by margins of 2 and 3 points. 1 card had it even, so it was still within reach for Arturo Gatti, but Manfredy was working his way toward a likely decision in the fight, as well as doing the damage that produced the cut. And before we go into the ring to hear from the fighters, let's quickly take a look back at the highlights of what happened in the fight. I mentioned the early cut against Gatti. It was actually in round 1 when that right hand landed and caused the cut over Gatti's eye. In round 2, the blood began to flow, and Manfredy took advantage to land combinations like that left and right. Then in round 3, this terrific left hook put Gatti down, and it looked as though it could be an early knockout victory for Manfredy. But Gatti came back in the 4th and the 5th, dominated those rounds, landing combinations, and then tried to put Manfredy away with his trademark thunderous left hooks. But Manfredy showed his great chin through those rounds and managed to stay on his feet. Then by the 7th round, he began to land combinations again, and by the 8th, that's the way Arturo Gatti looked, and that's why the fight was stopped in favor of Angel Manfredy. And let's go to Larry Merchant in the ring.
All right, thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Angel. You cut him in the very first round, end of the round. Did you feel at that point, I have him?
Well, first I'd like to thank the Lord, our Savior Jesus Christ. When I cut him in the first round, it was a bad cut. You know what? I knew they weren't going to stop the fight because it's in his hometown, but he showed the class of a warrior. I told everybody he's a warrior. He's a champion, and that's what champions should do. Get together, bump heads, and let's throw down. That's how it should be.
All right, now tell us about your right hand. You didn't throw it a lot at the end of the fight. Did you hurt it?
I feel it's broken, but like a warrior I am, I was still hitting him with a broken hand. I didn't care. The Lord.
When did you hurt it?
It was like 3 rounds before the last round. And I just told myself, you know what? If I got to be a warrior, I got to suck it up. One hand, no hand. I got to do it, you know? And the warrior that I am, I came out on top. I knew it, and I told all you guys.
All right. One of the major factor in your winning the fight was that you took some of his heaviest artillery. Did he ever hurt you?
I wanted to tell you, he rocked me a couple times, but did not hurt me. I was so mentally strong for this fight. But I mean, he's a strong puncher. You know what I mean? He's a very strong puncher, but he never hurt me. He rattled me a little bit, but mentally, I was there through the whole thing.
What about his body shots? You were supposedly had a rib cage that was bruised several weeks ago. Did he hurt you there?
I was sparring with junior middleweights, welterweights for this fight. I mean, I was sparring with guys that was quality fighters.
Were you hurt coming into this fight?
He caught me with a body shot, knocked the wind out of me a little bit. I, like a true champion, boxed him. He couldn't finish me. I'm a warrior. He couldn't finish me. I slicked him out.
Angel, you want to give him a rematch?
You know what? I really don't know, because you know he didn't put his belt on the line. And you know what? A true champion would have put his belt on the line. And right now, all I'm thinking about is to move ahead. I beat him, now bring on Prince, baby. Bring on the little showboat, the one that talks the talk and can't walk the walk. Bring on Prince. I want him. He's too small for me. He ain't strong enough for me. Hey, he's nothing compared to Gatti. He's nothing compared to Gatti. I want to shock the world by fighting the best. And right now, he's the name fighter right now that everybody's talking about, as well as me, as well as Gatti. So, hey, bring on Prince, baby.
All right, thank you very, very much.
God bless you. God
Angel,
bless you.
great
God bless
fight.
HBO, baby.
Back to you, Jim.
All right, Larry, quickly we'll take a look at the final punch stat numbers in this spectacular fight. As Gatti landed 294 out of 692. By the end, they were mostly power shots. Manfredy landed 294, exactly the same number of punches, only throwing 526, an astonishing connect percentage of 56%, made much easier, no doubt, by the cut over Gatti's left eye and Gatti's inability to see out of that eye in the closing rounds. Those are the numbers on the power punches, and when a guy lands nearly 60% of his power punches against you, you are going to be hard-pressed to beat him. And you heard Angel Manfredy in the ring calling out Prince Nassim. He said, I want Prince Nassim next. Standing here with me now is London promoter Frank Warren, the man who represents the new economic linchpin of the lower weight classes. Prince Nassim's been fighting at 126. Obviously, Manfredy can go back to 130 very easily. Where does he rank in the Prince Nassim sweepstakes off this victory, Frank?
Yeah, I think it'd be a fight we'd like to get on, this year, probably around summer. I think it'd be a great fight. Obviously Manfredy's a very good fighter. He's tough. He took some good shots from Gatti. But my guy can punch as well, and it'd be very interesting to see what would happen.
Are you suggesting that the Prince will have one more fight at 126 before possibly looking up to Manfredy at 130?
No, he makes the weight very easy, but he wouldn't have a problem going up just to take that fight at that weight and then drop him back down again.
So it might be the next fight, or you think it's 2 fights down the road?
I think it's about 2 fights down the road. Summer, we'd look like that probably in England.
All right, thanks very much, Frank Warren. So there's your answer for the moment. Angel Manfredy, yes, they might be interested in you. In all probability, they'll be looking to take one more fight first. Let's go back into the ring and hear what Arturo Gatti has to say.
Arturo, you got cut at the very end of the first round. Your thought at the moment, it seems like you knew, damn, I'm in it again.
Yeah, I knew it after the first round. I got cut. I don't know how I did.
Here it is. You'll see it was a sneak right hand. Take a look. Right there.
Yeah, it was well placed, but I wasn't hard enough to cut me. And then I felt the blood dripping down, and I knew I was in trouble after that because it was the first round. And, after that, I tried to come back stronger and try to hurt him, to let him know I was there, to make him calm down a little bit, not to aim on my cut eye all the time. But Manfredy came very strong, and hey, I won the fight this time, but the way I gave him the shot to fight me, I deserve a rematch.
Arturo, he says that he hurt his hand and possibly broke it 2 or 3 rounds before the end. Were you aware at all that he wasn't throwing it or throwing it with anything on it?
Well, by then, he did the damage already with his right hand. He cut me, and his right hand never hurt me. I was never hurt. His left hook caught me in surprise, but the damage was there already. The cut was there.
He said that you did hurt him in the body. Did you feel that you were hurting him there, and yet he was able to stay strong and take your best shots?
Yes, he did. He proved that he's a true champ, and I did the best I can. I showed that I am the world champion. I am a true champion. I deserve a second shot against him.
At the end of the day, do you think that his ability to absorb your shots, and not everybody can, was the difference in this fight?
Most probably, but the only difference that I was cut, that's the only reason why I won this fight. If I wasn't cut, I definitely would have knocked him out in the later rounds, because I seemed slowing down a little bit. But the cut did do the magic on the first round, and he was smart to keep hitting me on the left eye.
All right, you're going to need some serious stitching in there, and it'll keep you out of action for a while. When do you think you'll be back, and do you want to fight somebody else before you fight Manfredy?
No, I want Manfredy next. Hopefully you'll be nice enough to give me a rematch.
Thank you very much for another great fight, Arturo.
Thanks.
Jim?
All right, thanks very much. And here's a look at the judges' scorecards at the time at which the fight was stopped. As we told you, even on one card, Manfredy leading by 2- and 3-point margins on the other 2 cards, working his way toward a likely decision victory if the bout had gone the distance. Well, George Foreman, Gatti's critics have been saying that his fighting style will lead to a short career. Was this further evidence of that?
No doubt about it. He went to the well once too many, and there just wasn't enough water there this time. He tried, but it just wasn't there. If you're going to be a brawler, you got to note these things happen. Start off, win these fights, get them over, and don't wait to keep running back thinking I'll pull it out in the latter rounds. You got to win the first, second, and third that way.
What about coming back from a cut like that? He's shown a tendency to want to be too impatient and get into the ring too quickly after bad eye swelling in the past. This requires a long layoff, doesn't it?
No doubt about it. And Manfredy was so smart. After he got the cut, he never tried to finish him off. He just labored, and labored. You should take some time off out. He didn't look bad. As a matter of fact, I'd like to see Gatti fight again.
All right, as the world's biggest Prince Nassim fan,
what
do you think of Manfredy against Prince Nassim at 130 pounds?
That Prince has got a lot of power, and he is as cagey as Manfredy. That would be an interesting fight. I don't know who would win, but I'm telling you, the Prince would be a show.
He's another guy who's easy to hit, though, and Manfredy's going to have a high connect percentage against him as well, wouldn't he?
Oh, but that Prince is like a fox. He hits you and dances and turns different directions. It's altogether a different show.
Maybe there's a 270-pound Prince fan out there who's bigger than George, but for the moment he remains one of the world's biggest Prince Nassim fans. Thanks a lot, big guy. Okay. Another great night. Larry Merchant, it was in many ways everything that we expected it to be. A little bit of an anticlimax because of the stoppage due to a cut, but an entirely justifiable stoppage given the nature of that cut.
Just one point about Manfredy and Prince Hamed. I'd be surprised if that fight ever happened.
Really? Why?
Because I think the attraction was to fight Gatti, who was a star, and you put 2 stars together and try to make a whole bunch of money. I'm not sure that Manfredy has reached that yet. Just because you beat a star doesn't make you a star, as we've often found in the past. I did want to say this about Arturo Gatti, however. Most fighters are like textbooks or guidebooks, variations of one kind or another. And this is a young man who I feel is almost like a novel. He's a swashbuckling, flawed hero who more often than not is gonna rescue the heroine and get out of the abyss at the end of a great read. It didn't happen tonight. He's young enough to make it happen again, and I expect he will.
Well, it'll be good to see him back. I'm a little amazed, though. You say that even with the tattoos and the devil mask and all that stuff, off a victory like this, Manfredy's not yet a big enough star to fight Prince Nassim.
I think he has to win a couple of more fights so that he can do this a couple of more times. And basically, I think he's really much too strong. Both of them are much too strong for Hamed. Both of them would handle Hamed.
I'm sure Hamed would disagree with you.
Yeah, but the attraction of Hamed and Gatti was to make a bonanza of a showdown between 2 big stars. I don't think it's there yet with Manfredy. I'd be surprised if it happened.
All right. Thanks very much, Larry Merchant. One final boxing note we'd like to mention before we move forward, incidentally. Announcements earlier this week involving 2 of the most esteemed trainers in the long history of the sport. Lou Duva will be inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame at Canastota, New York this coming summer, and we want to certainly send along our congratulations to Lou. And Eddie Futch, at 86 years old, has finally announced his retirement from the sport. What a lot of memories Eddie leaves behind. Trainer of heavyweight champions more than once in his career. And Eddie, you were truly, truly great for as long as you've been with us, and we know you're going to be with us a lot longer as a fan as well. We'll be back with a final word on what happened in the ring in just a moment. Let's look ahead to some upcoming programs on HBO.
We're not running a flower shop here, okay? We're selling the girl.
He started a magazine. It started a revolution.
Decent people are being corrupted. If you don't like Hustler magazine, don't read it.
But he wasn't going down without a fight.
Enough of this.
Woody Harrelson.
Pervert is back!
The People versus Larry Flint. Premieres Saturday, January 24th on HBO. When the lights go down, 4 fighters get down to business. Middleweight champ Bernard Hopkins clocks in to make his 7th title defense against former junior middleweight champ Simon Brown. Plus, hungry young heavyweight Hasim Rahman gets ready to do double time against veteran power puncher Jesse Ferguson. And Olympic hero David Reed continues his quest for excellence. It all happens live Saturday, January 31st, HBO Boxing After Dark. Some of the best in the business work the night shift.
And on January 27, HBO Sports presents Reflections on Ice, a diary of ladies figure skating. Join us then as we look back at the evolution, sacrifice, success, and tragedy of ladies figure skating through revealing interviews and never-before-seen footage. It premieres Tuesday night, January 27 at 8 o'clock Eastern and Pacific time. Tomorrow morning at 10:30 and also other times this coming week. Be sure to look for the most recent installment of Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel. Featured in this edition, a look back at Dwayne Thomas, the non-talking Cowboy star of the '72 Super Bowl, a profile of Elizabeth O'Donnell, a remarkable woman who teaches blind children and children with disabilities to figure skate, and an investigative report on fraudulent autographs in the world of sports memorabilia. Real Sports, where nothing is out of bounds. And turn to HBO for the show The Pros Watch, Inside the NFL, as hosts Len Dawson, Nick Bonaconti, Chris Collinsworth, and Jerry Glanville travel next week to San Diego for a special in-depth preview of Super Bowl 33. It premieres Thursdays at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific time. Earlier this evening, in a heavyweight showdown, Michael Grant enhanced his already sparkling credentials with a knockout at 107 of the 5th round of the very tough David Izon. Izon was coming off his own knockout of Lou Savarese, and with this victory, Grant moves to the head of the class among the young, developing heavyweights. And then, in the most hotly anticipated bout of early 1998, Angel Manfredy finally turned the tables on the Ultimate Warrior, Arturo Gatti. Gatti showed all of his vaunted courage and resiliency tonight, but he simply could not weather the storm of Manfredy's accurate punching, and it was stopped after a severe cut to Gatti's left eye. Coming up immediately following tonight's coverage of World Championship Boxing, stay tuned for Free Jack on the East Coast and the premiere of Meet Wally Sparks on the West Coast. So now for Larry Merchant, George Foreman, and Harold Letterman, I'm Jim Lampley saying so long from the Atlantic City Convention Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The executive producer of HBO Sports is Ross Greenberg. Tonight's telecast of World Championship Boxing was produced by Rick Bernstein and directed by Mark Payton. Happy birthday, Mark. The feature producers were Greg Backer and Max Siegel. The associate producers, Kirby Bradley and Kendall Bridges-Reed. Assistant to the producer, Thomas Erdelfeld. The production manager was John McCallie, and the technical supervisor was Bob Hunter. And happy birthday to George Foreman as well, 49 this past week.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.
It's a long, hard road to become the best in the light heavyweight division. And for undefeated champ William Guthrie, the path leads through immovable Reggie Sweet Johnson. One road, one goal. Live February 6th. HBO Boxing After Dark.